Hello, Fivers, and welcome to another Fantasy5 podcast. I'm here with Daniel, as always, and we want to just have a quick fire podcast about the future of football, the future footballers that are going to dominate the next era. With Ronaldo, Messi coming to an end, who's going to be dominating the next 5-10 years of football?
I think basically in this episode we want to go through like who's going to be the next Ballon d'Or winners, say in 5 years' time, who's going to be dominating, because obviously we've had Ronaldo and Messi for like years now, just dominating.
A little bit of Modric.
Yeah. And it's been hard to see, because they've been so good, like who's going to actually replace them. First of all, can you replace Messi and Ronaldo? Probably not. But it'll be interesting because we're going to probably get a different Ballon d'Or winner like each year now, unless
potentially
say like Haaland or something takes over and is winning all the time. So yeah, I want to start with one that I've picked out as like who will win a Ballon d'Or in say 5 years' time. I picked out Vinicius Junior.
Interesting. Is he an outsider or one that you think will, has got a good shot?
I think at the moment, he's got a good shot. I think last season was his breakthrough season. He got 17 goals and 10 assists in 35 games for Real Madrid. And obviously in the past we've seen, and he's only 22 as well, which is quite incredible. And in the past we've seen players from teams like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Milan, these elite European clubs. They've always been the ones that have won the Ballon d'Or.
Definitely a slight bias. Not with Ronaldo and Messi, but I feel just in general before that there's definitely a slight bias.
Yeah, and there's been a bias, for years. And I think maybe something to do with the Real Madrid president also having involvement with FIFA and stuff like that. But I think because of that, Vinny Jr. is already in a advantage.
He's an interesting one because I don't watch the La Liga religiously, and I've seen him obviously in the Champions League where he did perform in the latter stages this last season. But before that, I had never really seen the hype. I thought, he was a bit overrated. No, I know he's young, but I just felt like his end product wasn't really there. But yeah, recently he's definitely started improving. He's definitely improved his game.
I think, because players peak at different ages. I think his breakthrough season was this season, like Champions League, he did very well in, and also La Liga. Like his stats are actually higher than I thought they were. Like I didn't think he was all that, but actually I've seen he's doing very well at the top level of Real Madrid. Like, is that because Barcelona have fallen off a little bit and
the league
is quite easy? Yeah. Maybe, but that hasn't stopped Ronaldo and Messi winning the Ballon d'Or in La Liga. And people saying they're incredible when they were like Ronaldo arguably was at his prime in Real Madrid, and people were saying that's when he was at his best. So I don't think that's going to stop Vinny Jr. from having a chance. I think it's going to heighten it, and he's got a massive brand around his name already, like 20 million followers on Instagram. I know it doesn't play into it, but it does. It does really in the modern.
It doesn't, but it does.
Yeah. In no like
world, it does. No, it does.
It shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's interesting. He's never won that Copper. What's it called? The Copper Trophy, which is like the younger Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
And you've had like De Ligt. I think you had 3 years ago, even like Patrick Kluivert's son coming third place, and it's just like, how do they really rate these players?
What's quite interesting, and then we said about the bias of like Real Madrid players winning. You've had Luis Figo, you've had Brazil Ronaldo, and you've had Cannavaro. 3 or 3 of those have won the Ballon d'Or. Was Cannavaro one of the best defenders of all time?
Questionable. I don't think
maybe not.
From what I remember, I only saw him at the end of his career. Like I can really remember, and he was. I remember being quite small also, but like still very very good player.
Figo as well, like very very good player. Obviously, was he a Ballon d'Or winner? And
he played for both Madrid and Barca. He was unbelievable. Figo was unbelievable.
Brazil Ronaldo as well, was unbelievable. But I think the fact they played for Real Madrid and performed such a high level, I think that
helps.
It helps massively. So that's sort of getting my point across there. But it'd be interesting because
I see it as Haaland and Mbappe really dominating the next 5 years. Haaland's going to go to City. I see City winning the Champions League, and I see them dominating the Premier League for years to come, based on the team, the average age, Pep's commitment to Man City. I do see them dominating. I think Haaland, the only thing that's going to hold him back is his internationals. Being Norwegian, not being able to perform on the international stage, as well as maybe Mbappe is going to be able to perform, will probably hold him back. And it just matters if City are outperforming PSG on
Yeah, could also work in his favour if he takes Norway to like quite far in the competitions or something.
If he can get them,
that would be pretty incredible.
The rest of his team are they're not great. There's not many standout players in that squad.
No, maybe there's a next generation to come through. Who knows? I mean,
at some point, I think regardless, he needs to perform for Norway to be a consistent Ballon d'Or winner.
Does he though? Because obviously Messi and Ronaldo, obviously as good as they were,
Ronaldo's won it because of his performances for Portugal. Messi's been able to get away with it. He's won the one tournament with Argentina.
He's got 7. So it's like, if you are like, and Haaland is very, very good, like very good.
I don't think you can also compare Haaland with Messi. Like Messi is in a whole different world to everyone.
But is it too early to say that because Haaland is
no? But Haaland, even if Haaland is like the most, he destroys players. Even if the way he plays, it's a more physical game. Like Messi is beautiful to watch. He does things that other players can't really see. Haaland has just got he's clinical. He's an amazing finisher. He's strong. He's pacey. Like he's got attributes. Whereas I don't think.
Then you compare Messi and Ronaldo, don't we? And they're completely different players. So depends how well Haaland does.
But Messi, But as you know, Messi's...
I have said that. I'm probably one of Messi's biggest advocates for that, about having that natural ability. So I do agree with that. But I think if Haaland does go on to, say, score 800 goals in 800 games, you can't... I mean, he may do.
That. Yeah.
He may do.
If he's doing that, then yeah.
Because he's already scored 200 goals or so in 200 games. 100,
now the bigger test.
132 goals in 182 games, 35 assists. So
it's a strong record.
It is a strong record at this age. And he's probably got the way footballers are going on now, as opposed to the 38. He's probably got 16 years of playing games for City and scoring.
Yeah, 14. Yeah, probably more closer to 14 years. But agreed. He's a different animal. What do you think? So you've got the World Cup coming up this year as well. Who do you think is going to win the Ballon d'Or this year? You've got obviously Benzema, who's performed excellently for Real Madrid, and he's now back with the French squad, so he's going to be at the World Cup.
I just think it's Benzema all over. I don't think there's a debate. I think it was almost settled after that he won the Champions League. Maybe that hype will wear off a bit, and maybe people will start to look at other options. But I think there's no really...
I think the only one who can stop him is KDB if he scores and if he has a ridiculous start to the season and somehow gets Belgium to win the World Cup. I think that's the only way anyone can overtake him. But what is exciting is it's most likely not going to be Ronaldo or Messi this year.
That's good.
So, finally there's...
Messi shouldn't have won it last year, to be fair. I don't know how he's won it last year. As much as I like him, he was shocking last season, wasn't he, really?
Yeah.
But let's move back on to, future Ballon d'Or winners.
Who are you thinking?
So, I've got Mbappe in there. Tricky with Mbappe because he is at PSG like Messi and Neymar, and because they're at PSG they're so overlooked and overshadowed because it's such an easy league. And I think Mbappe, he could easily win a Ballon d'Or if he moves to somewhere like City, like Haaland has, or moves to United, or I don't know, anyone who has a bit of prestige about them.
Tough at United. But yeah, I get what you're
saying.
No,
United, you know what I mean? City, Liverpool. If he moves to Liverpool, Mbappe moves to Liverpool and tore it up for Liverpool.
In a harder league, doing more. I think
Mbappe,
Real Madrid. He had, agreed. I do think though that him being French, being in, that benefits him. They're probably going to do very well in the World Cup again, and they'll do well in the Euros next year.
It's because of that's a problem because of that, because he's playing for PSG. He's immediately got a disadvantage. He has to do well in the international stage. He can't just play very well at a club level, and then be recognised because of the PSG thing. Really,
I think some of I think moving along, I think there's some younger players. So Jude Bellingham, for example, he's played a ridiculous amount of games for his age. He's already shown maturity beyond his years.
Yeah,
if he continues to progress, moves to a bigger team, has that impact. You never know. There could be potential there. There's less. The players nowadays have been unlucky. Unfortunate they've been around when Ronaldo and Messi have been around. So there's been, there's really not been much. It's not been many different winners. There's only been the same guys over and over again. I think players like Jude Bellingham, if he was around 10 years ago, he would not even be questioned to be winning.
Do you think he needs to move away from Dortmund in order
100%.
to be considered?
Not yet. He's still young, but I think he'll have to move away from Dortmund, go to Liverpool, where they say he's going to go, or wherever it is, and continue
I think he's probably one of England's
best chances.
Best chances, but then you look at players
I
in the
thought
past.
Foden was a chance, but I don't know if Foden has.
That's it. Like, I think he's got so much hype around in Bellingham. I'm a bit worried that he'll just do the typical English thing where you're hyped up and then you get dragged down by the media when you start playing badly. You've seen it happen so many times. Even Jack Wilshere, for example, was like on top of the world at one point, and
good old English media.
He could have gone on to actually do good things. I mean, Barcelona were looking at signing him at one point when he was really good. Like, he could have gone on to do like incredible things like Gerrard and Lampard, but got tore down by the English media, retired at 29. Like, you got to be careful.
Yeah, I don't know if the media was as in the media might have definitely played an impact on his psyche, but I think it was more, his injuries that.
Yeah, there's also Gabi Agbonlahor as well, which is interesting. He actually said, I think it was him, it made me wrong, but he made an England debut at a very young age, and the media hyped him up saying he's the next big thing. Suddenly he started playing worse and worse, and his form dropped. And then the media, as soon as that happened, started picking up on him and saying he's not as good as we thought he was. But they brought him up to drag him back down again. Like, he never asked to be considered the next best player in the world. That puts the pressure on him. He has one bad performance.
Say the same thing about Dele Alli. You can say the same. That it happens a lot with players.
That's the biggest worry about
the media. Yeah, they'll just jump on anything. They'll jump on any topic. They need to sell papers. They need to sell more ads. So,
but why is it always just the English media? You don't see it in Germany. You don't see it in Spain. It's a shame.
I guess it's just like, in Germany, it's you would think you would see the same. It's a similar mindset of people. It's a similar you need to get the articles out, etc. But yeah, it's interesting.
I've got another youngster here as well. You may not have heard of him, but if you haven't, you should. Karen Adeyami.
Do you know how to pronounce his name though?
Adeyami.
Yeah.
He's just signed for Dortmund. He's 20 years old. He has 71 goals in 161 games and 44 assists at 20 years old. For Leipzig. Yeah. Moved to Dortmund, and obviously they haven't got Haaland anymore, so it seems like he'll be the replacement for Haaland.
Yeah. You know my views though on German football. Like, those stats are amazing.
Haaland started there, and now look where he is. Like, he's
I'm not saying. Yeah. Oh, you got Jadon Sancho, Havertz, Werner. They've all gone on a journey. I agree 100%. Like, as in, they're still very good footballers, but again, like, as in, he's so young. As in, it's unbelievable. I'm not taking anything away from it. It's unbelievable. Let's see if he can do it now at Dortmund, and then
he's definitely one to watch.
Progression. Yeah,
I haven't heard much hype about him as well, and that's interesting. I think that is, again, like an example of German media versus English media. If he was English and he moved to a big Premier League team, everyone would be like, "Wow, this kid! Like, let's watch him."
Yeah,
and there'd be so much pressure on him. I think actually him moving to Dortmund from Leipzig is a very smart move.
Is he German? No,
he's German.
He
I think.
German.
Yeah, and he's moved from Leipzig to. Instead of going to like City or a big team and ruining his career, he's done quite a smart move and following Haaland's footsteps.
Yeah, Dortmund seem to be a good team to go to when you're up and coming. Like, they've vetted these players in very well, and they continue to do so. They're continuing to buy young talent.
They are actually. That's quite interesting. I saw.
You would say that the Ballon d'Or winners, I reckon, in the future you'll have a few of them will come through the Dortmund ranks. They won't be at Dortmund when they win it, but I reckon Dortmund will be part of their journeys.
I've also got another name here, which you'll probably massively disagree with, but it's an interesting debate. I don't think he really has a chance. He has an outside chance. Emil Smith Rowe.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Jeff. The reason why I bring this up.
Before you even brought it up, you're like, he's got an outside chance.
No, he does have an outside chance because... So his contract expires
doesn't even start for Arsenal, but he's got an outside chance. Let's hear this. Let's hear why.
So his contract expires in 2026. He will start for Arsenal. He's part of their bigger plans, clearly. Arsenal are a team that could either, in the next 3 years, excel to the top of the league like they did in the Invincible season, or like just go to the bottom. They've got Arteta.
They're more likely to plummet than to...
You never know. They've got Arteta. They've got this process that he's talking about.
Yeah.
They brought on Jesus, like we said in the last podcast. They brought on Vieira, some good talent they're bringing on, and they're slowly they're hopefully slowly moving up the league, and they could, go for an invincible season. And if Smith Rowe is part of their bigger plans and starts to perform and starts to hit his peak when Arsenal start doing well, as an English player, there's no reason why he could be considered. It is a long shot because we haven't seen it yet.
I think it is a long shot, and I think there's more English talent that's better than him. And I think, but as in, it depends how he's nurtured. Like, yeah, he was very good last season.
That's it, and I think
there's a lot of very good players.
With Bellingham, he's still got to make that move. Smith Rowe's already.
You think Smith Rowe could do it at Arsenal?
Yeah.
You think he could be the Ballon d'Or winner at Arsenal?
Obviously, he's take this with a pinch of salt because Henry is nothing like Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
But Henry has been a massive player at Arsenal, and they've done. Did
Henry win the Ballon d'Or at Arsenal?
I don't think he did. I think he won it at Barcelona. But he went on to do great things at Arsenal, and he made his name at Arsenal.
Yeah.
No reason why a player, Smith Rowe at 21, could go on to be one of our legends.
Better than Foden? Is he better than Is it just sort of different player? But I just don't know if he's.
My argue for Foden is he's again like a small fish in a big pond. He hasn't. I don't think he'll ever be a star man at City, especially when they're bringing in talent like Haaland. Like Haaland is now the big picture of City. Everyone thinks of Haaland when they think of City.
You definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah. But he is their big signing.
Yeah.
And now Foden is now not the top player. At Arsenal, they haven't got lots of big talent they're bringing in. And they're more like a team movement.
I get you.
Yeah. It's a massive outside shot.
So I think, from my point of view, I think Haaland and Mbappe are going to dominate. I think Mbappe will probably dominate more because France are going to be more successful. But I do see City just, again, running clear of it for multiple seasons in the Premier League, and I think the Champions League will come now with Haaland in the team. So yeah, I think them two are going to be fighting it out, and then these youngsters that you've spoken about, also Bellingham, I think maybe in 5-6 years, that's when we might start seeing them as well. But I think Haaland and Mbappe will be a very young Ballon d'Or winner.
I think Mbappe does need to make that move soon to Real Madrid or something like that for him to be considered, just because. Yeah, he won't do it
to
at
win.
PSG.
He's being considered without it, but to win it, maybe.
Yeah.
If PSG win the Champions League, and Mbappe's a big part of it, they win the league, and he also gets far with France. He's definitely winning.
It's a lot to do, though, isn't it?
There's a lot to do, but I'm saying he doesn't need to leave PSG to do it. He could do it at PSG.
But he'd definitely have an advantage if he did leave. He'd definitely have a big advantage if he did.
Yeah.
One last player I want to bring up is Donnarumma for PSG, the goalkeeper.
Interesting. Has there been a goalkeeper win the Ballon d'Or?
No. And he's 23, and he's already established as one of the top 10 keepers in the world.
Won the Euros.
Yeah, won the Euros of Italy. Played a massive part in that as well with his penalty shootout.
Painful. I was there. Painful.
So
craziest game I've ever been to. Put that out there.
I think now Messi and Ronaldo have stepped off the podium a bit. I think there needs to be a goalkeeper who wins Ballon d'Or at some point. There's been a debate for a while, and Mendy said it as well. There needs to be a goalkeeper who wins the Ballon d'Or. They don't get them enough respect.
But is he as good as previous goalkeepers? Is he as good as
before?
Schmeichel at his best, Buffon at his best, even Van der Sar at his best?
So interestingly enough, he's made 200 appearances already at 23. Buffon made 600.
He's been around for ages. I don't know. He's been around for ages, and he's at a very high quality. He obviously plays for Italy. He's played at Where's he now? AC Milan. He plays at. Is it AC Milan?
Yeah, he's at PSG at the moment.
PSG. So he's at AC Milan. He went to PSG 2 years ago. Yeah, he plays at very high quality. I just don't know. One playing at PSG is probably he won't get the recognition because it's just an easier league. But I think you've got to be really exceptional to. Is he even the best goalkeeper in the world? You think he's better than Alisson?
I wouldn't say he's best in the world right now, but he's definitely top 5, I'd say, at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's made 285 appearances and conceded 300 goals. So
more than a goal a game. But he was playing in a worse team at AC.
And this is at 23, so these have been appearances from when he was younger as well.
Yeah. I think that's a hard fact to really go by, but yeah.
I
think a keeper needs to really shine, needs to be unbelievable in all the big games, all the way through the competitions. That's the only way they're ever going to come close to winning it.
I just think there's no other goalkeeper who's his age right now who's coming through.
You're right, but that doesn't mean he's going to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, that's a good point. But if a goalkeeper was to win it, I think he'd be the first person who would win it because he, at 23, has done so much more than any other young goalkeeper coming through has done.
Yeah.
And he's got so many years left.
And there's a lot of trust behind him. To give 23 of that trust is a big thing.
He's already been at Milan, already been at PSG, and they're the clubs that are Milan is one that has historic Ballon d'Or wins. If he goes to Real Madrid or something, say in a couple of years, and does really well there,
who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows, Fivers? Well, that's it for this pod. But please let us know in the comments who you think will be the next Ballon d'Or winner this season, and who's going to be any names that we've missed out. Let us know. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. And thank you, and we'll see you next time.